Hey, how's it going, guys? I'll try and do a quick one. I just want to talk about Jesus' skin color and UFOs. So I'll try and make it a quick hitter and just get my points across. But Jesus is a black man, and I'm going to talk about why that is true from the Bible, and then also why I feel it's very, very significant for the end times as well. So from just the Bible, Revelation 1:15 and 2:18 says Jesus's hair was white like wool and his feet unto fine brass. And so, any person who has dark feet, that's usually the lightest part of the person's body. And so, all of his skin and his whole body was dark, very, very dark. Moses was black. Exodus 4:6-7. God made Moses, put his hand in his bosom. He took it out. It was leprous. Then he put it back, and then it went back to his normal skin color, black. Early church members were described as black explicitly. In Acts 13:1, there was an individual named Simeon that was called Niger, and that's explicitly in the Bible, the word Niger. And Job was black in Job 30:30. My skin is black upon me. He literally says it. Solomon was black in Song of Solomon 1:5. He says, I am black and comely. I am black because the sun looked upon me. And there's some verses, I believe, in Jeremiah describing the Jews as black. The Hebrews, if you go to their videos, they'll talk about a lot of things, and some of it's nonsense, but a lot of, you'll get a lot of verses from them supporting that. And they put me onto that, and can't argue with it and don't want to argue with it, and it makes sense. And I'll explain why it's very, very relevant to the end times from a more sort of independent source, I guess, but much more qualitative. The former Prime Minister of Egypt, Gamal Abdel Nasser, on I believe it was on a TV show years ago. He's Europeans claiming to be Jews are Hebrew-speaking Gentiles. You, the Jews, this is a quote, you, the Jews, will never be able to live in peace because you left here black and came back white. And so he's acknowledging that the real Jews, the descendants of Judah, which is one of the 12 tribes of Israel, are black people. And so another thing, just based on elimination, we know that the modern day Jewish people cannot be the real biblical Jews strictly by their works. They run basically an international banking cartel, Hollyweird. They're behind that. They have orthodox renditions of their religion where rabbis suck a baby's penis to remove circumcision blood, and that's just kind of allowed. And we have YouTube being censoring flat Earth, but no one's imprisoning these quote unquote rabbis. So this is the world that we live in. There are books, and one in particular that talk about the modern day Jewish people, their lineage, being involved in financing and profiting and benefiting from the transatlantic slave trade. And Nation of Islam published a book called The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews, and that's well established. Doesn't surprise me, just with their mindset, the mentality God has given them in this day is to profit off of everything, and would not surprise me that they would profit off of the very people that they're posing to be. And ancestry test, Dr. Ahmad Al-Gundi, there's a video on my channel where he talks about the Jewish people today are not the biblical Israelites. And, he explicitly says Negroes and other people are the actual Israelites. And another point just from related to genealogy explicitly in the Bible is that if there's a group of modern day Jewish people called Ashkenazi Jews, and they are Jewish people from the Russia, Ukrainian, Polish region. You can just find that on Wikipedia. Type the term Ashkenazi Jews. A lot of the leading bankers and people in, politics and government, you'll notice that some of them will be Ashkenazi Jews. So some of them are very powerful. And if you look at a genealogical table of the descendants of Noah, Noah had 3 sons, Japheth, Ham, and Shem. And you'll see that Japheth had a son named Gomer, who had a son named Ashkenaz. And so those people, those Ashkenazi Jews, are actually descendants of Japheth. And so when we say somebody's anti-Semitic, we are referring to Noah, one of Noah's sons, Shem. And so the people that descended from Shem, they are Semitic people, Shemitic people. And, Shem had Elam, Asher, Arphaxad, Lud, and Aram. And Arphaxad had Salah and Eber had Peleg, who had Ru, who had Serug, who had Terah, who had Abraham. And then Abraham had Isaac and Jacob. And then Jacob had the 12 tribes. And so if anybody makes an anti-Semitic statement, they're actually speaking against the descendants of Shem, and which are not many of the modern day Jewish people. And so anybody who is anti-Semitic are people who are against all the descendants of Shem, but more specifically the 12 tribes of Israel. And they're scattered, but like I was saying earlier, the important thing about Jesus being black, it gives us insight into who are the real Jews. And so, this is where it's very, very important to know this, to be able to unlock the book of Revelation, because the book of Deuteronomy, in particular Deuteronomy 28, prophesies that many of the Israelites will be brought into slavery on cargo slave ships in Deuteronomy 28:68. And so we would then have to look for a group of people who are in a land that their forefathers have not known, into slavery on packed in like sardines on cargo slave ships, and sent into a foreign land. And that is the narrative of the so-called Negroes here in America. They are not quote unquote African American. They act differently than Africans. I have friends who are from Africa, like Nigeria and different parts of Africa, and you just know they're just different. They interact and have some similarities. I'm not like we're all human, but the so-called Negroes are a unique group just in terms of their culture. And you can even just see and I'm not glorifying rap music or anything like that, but just they are different. They are fundamentally a different group of people, just like no one would ever say that Indian people and Sri Lankan people are the same, even though we have certain similarities. We might even look fairly similar and have similar religions and stuff, but we are fundamentally a different people. And, that's the same thing with the so-called Negroes and the Africans. They are not African American. God has done that as a judgment for, lack of faith and all the things that, and this narrative that God is architecting. And, so what it does is it actually shifts the focus of the end times away from the state of Israel, the country in the Middle East, to America, because that is where the deliverance will be out of. And just by coincidence, Mystery Babylon, which I believe is America, is exhibiting all the characteristics in modern day of what it's prophesied in Revelation 17 and Revelation 18. And one of the many things, I've done other videos on Mystery Babylon, but if you read Revelation 18:7, it says, how much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her, for she saith in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow and shall see no sorrow. There is no way that verse could relate to any other place, and certainly not Israel in the Middle East, where the quote unquote Jewish people are. Because they have been in sorrow for a long time. The only place that would make sense right now, and just by coincidence, the so-called Negroes happen to be, in a large concentration, is America. That's what people are saying now, and America is like unraveling, and people are still saying that. Like we've had more store closures this year, year to date, than all of last year, and so. People are still singing that song, and America's like, there's an inflection point happening economically. Most people are acknowledging that, and people are still saying that, we will sit as a queen and see no sorrow. And so, in my opinion, all things point to the end times being focused around America. And so the last point I wanted to make is about UFOs, or entities that are outside of this dome, this enclosed system that we live in. There's a lot of truthers, quote unquote truthers, out there who are saying that aliens are evil, it's an alien deception, there's Project Bluebeam. This is a bit tongue-in-cheek, but I'm also serious. If there were other entities that would come and invade, I would want to go talk to them. I would ask them if I could communicate with them. Hey, what's going on where you guys are? Because here we have humans having sex with animals, and no one seems to have any issues with it. We have rabbis sucking, baby's penis blood. We have every kind of, perversion that's going on. We're eating garbage food. The air is disgusting. Everybody's lying about everything. And it's boring. It's stupid. We don't even know what the shape of the structure that we're on in our surroundings. And I'm not saying that to be rude to anybody. I'm in the same boat, but there's nothing going on here, so I would actually be curious to know, hey, what's going on over where you guys are? Is it better than this? Can't be worse. And so to me, that whole narrative that these aliens or everything outside of this existence is foreign, resist it, don't look up, don't look around, don't think that there's anything else good out there. That's what this system is all about. It's literally everything here is good, and so that's what we're fed. That's the narrative that we're fed. Just don't complain, suck it up, work, climb the corporate ladder, make the best of your situation. All these zingers, these one-liners, these philosophies, and the Bible describes it as wine, that America has spread philosophies, doctrines worldwide, not just homosexuality, just enjoying this place. And now if many people are waking up who have eyes to see and ears to hear and spiritual eyes, that we're living in hell. This is hell. And this is the most livable unlivableness that could ever exist for a lot of people. And to me, even the people at the quote unquote top are enslaved in some way. And so, I just encourage everybody out there to challenge that narrative that the things going on outside of this enclosed system cannot be worse than this, and to me are God's angels and entities that we want here. We want to welcome them, or if they're going somewhere, we want to go with them, because this is hell. This is the most stupid and perverted and disgusting that, in my opinion, things can get. And so, and America just happens to be the ringleader of it. And to me, this is where the focus of the end times will be, is actually in a place called Mystery Babylon, which America fits all the criteria for to a T. So again, we don't know with 100% certainty that we're in the end times, but if we are, and again, the mark of the beast looks like it's right around the corner, America has to be Mystery Babylon. And again, the Israelites are scattered, but they're highly likely a large concentration of them here in America. And many, not all, of the so-called Negroes in America are the biblical Jews. Hope you're doing well. Bye.